Global cues aren't very encouraging, but what's likely to happen with the markets going ahead and more specifically the macro fundamentals? William D. Vijlder, CIO at BNP Paribas, joins us for his perspective on that. William, great to have you with us. To start off with, tell us about the revision outlook that we had from Standard & Poor's for India. Are you worried about that, and how exactly are the investors taking to that review?
I think the downward revisions of ratings is not a kind of a standalone situation. As you know, many countries have been impacted by similar changes, similar downgrades. I don't think that is really the overriding concern that foreign investors would have. Let's not forget that we're talking about a high growth economy, admittedly with some structural challenges, but nevertheless a high growth economy. I think what is more important for the outlook of the bond market, when you're looking at it from a foreign investor perspective, is what is global risk appetite, global risk aversion doing. That's one thing, and then specifically how are the fundamentals of India going, and then thinking in particularly about the currency.
All right, and what's your view on the currency, more specifically the rupee? How much of the fall is fundamental and how much of it is due to the dollar strength?
Well, the dollar strength is a bit of a global phenomenon, and of course it has happened on the back of the weakening of the euro and the acceleration in the weakening. The amazing element in the behavior of the euro up until recently was that despite the crisis it was not going down more. That has now changed, and that has had a broad impact because it has pushed up the dollar more generally. Let's not forget, however, that the key driver is what is happening in India itself. And there, when you are running a twin deficit, you need to attract foreign capital. If you then have some question marks on the consistency, the coherence of economic policy, definitely it is weighing on the confidence of foreign investors.
Right, and William, how worried are you about this fall, and how much lower do you think that the rupee could go to?
Well, short term I would not expect, and short term this is really, I would say, in the coming weeks, I would not expect that global risk appetite would come back in a lasting way. Admittedly, you have the risk on, risk off with short term swings in markets, but I would not expect that it would come back for the very simple reason that the Eurozone issue will not go away quickly. Now, there are things that India can do itself to boost confidence, and that is not by intervening in the currency market, because this is only something which can have a short-lived impact at best. I think more importantly is that the more structural issues are being addressed, and in that sense the decision to hike petrol prices are clearly a step in a good direction, because that way foreign investors will understand that the leaders of the country understand what the fundamental issue is, and it would then also mean that admittedly with the hike of prices it has a negative impact on consumer spending power, but that would also then provide leeway for the central bank to ease monetary policy later on.